I'm staring at my laptop screen at 2:15 in the morning, and there are 47,000 comments on a post I made 6 hours ago. My phone's been buzzing nonstop for the last 3 hours. I've had to turn off notifications. The Reddit post has been shared to Twitter, Facebook, some relationship podcast I've never heard of, and according to my daughter Melissa, who just texted me in all caps, it's trending on TikTok. The title I gave it was simple: Update. I installed a dashcam in my wife's car after finding suspicious texts. You won't believe what I caught. But the real kicker, the thing that's making this explode across the internet like wildfire, is the video I attached. 23 minutes of crystal clear footage that shows exactly who my wife of 31 years really is. And every single person watching it is telling me the same thing. I'm a legend. I'm their hero. They wish they'd had my guts. My wife Sarah is 17 miles away at her sister's house right now, and based on the 9 voicemails she's left in the last hour, she's just seen it too. So has everyone we know. So has everyone in our town of 42,000 people. So has, apparently, half the internet. The view counter just rolled past 2.3 million. I never thought I'd be the guy sitting here watching my whole life burn down on a screen, watching strangers dissect my marriage like it's some kind of reality show finale. Let me take you back to when it all started. Because the thing about Betrayal is it never announces itself with sirens and flashing lights. It creeps in quiet, wearing the face of normal, and by the time you notice, it's already made itself at home. Sarah and I met in 1993 at a summer barbecue thrown by my college roommate. I was 24, just finished my degree in civil engineering, starting my first real job with the county. She was 22, working as a dental hygienist, had this laugh that made everyone around her smile too. She wore cut-off jean shorts and a yellow tank top that day, and I remember thinking she looked like sunshine. We got married 13 months later in her parents' backyard. Honeymoon in Gatlinburg because that's what we could afford. It rained 4 out of 5 days and we didn't care one bit. The first decade was the kind of good that doesn't make for interesting stories. We bought our first house in 2000. A 3-bedroom ranch that needed work but had good bones. I spent weekends fixing it up while Sarah planted flower beds and painted every room a different color. We had Melissa in 2001, our son Brandon in 2004, and our youngest Tyler in 2007. I made project manager by 2005. Sarah went part-time at the dental office to be home more with the kids. We did pizza Fridays, camping trips to Lake Cumberland, Christmas lights that took me 2 full weekends to put up. We argued about normal things. Money sometimes, my long hours during busy seasons, her mother visiting too often. But we always figured it out. We were solid. Or I thought we were. If I'd known then what I know now, I would have paid more attention to the small changes. The subtle ones that your brain registers but explains away because you trust the person sleeping next to you. It started around 2018, maybe early 2019. Sarah started going to the gym. Not unusual, we were both in our late 40s trying to fight off the middle-age spread. She'd gotten a membership to this place called Transform Fitness, went for sometimes 5 times a week. She lost weight, toned up, started dressing a little younger. I thought it was great. I told her she looked amazing. I was proud of her. She started talking about this trainer there, Marcus, how he was helping her with meal plans and workout routines. She showed me before and after photos on her phone. I said, keep up the good work. Then it was the phone. Sarah had always been casual about her phone. Left it on the counter, never had a passcode. Somewhere around mid-2019 that changed. Suddenly it had a 6-digit code. She said it was for security. All these stories on the news about identity theft made sense. She started taking it with her everywhere. Bathroom, garage, even just to switch laundry. When I'd ask who she was texting, she'd say the kids, her sister Diane, people from the gym. Nothing felt quite right, but nothing felt quite wrong either, you know what I mean? By 2020, the pandemic hit and everything went sideways for everyone, so the weird new distance between us felt almost normal. I was working from home. She was furloughed from the dental office. We spent more time together than we had in years and somehow felt further apart. She was always on her phone. Always. I'd come into a room and she'd flip it over. I started noticing she'd get up at odd hours, 2 or 3 in the morning, say she couldn't sleep, go sit in the living room with her phone. If you've ever laid awake at 3 a.m. wondering if you're crazy, You know this feeling. That feeling where your gut is screaming something's wrong, but your brain is calling you paranoid. In 2021, things shifted again. The dental office reopened. Sarah went back full-time. She seemed happier, lighter. She started doing girls' nights, something she'd never really done before. Every other Friday, sometimes Saturdays. She'd come home at midnight, 1 in the morning, smelling like wine and perfume. I asked where she went. She said different places, wine bars, that new Italian place downtown, sometimes just Diane's house. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. Our daughter Melissa got engaged in March of 2022. She was planning a wedding for October 2023. Sarah threw herself into helping, and I thought maybe this was it. Maybe she was just going through something and now we'd get back to normal. We started planning for retirement, looking at our finances. I was 54, thinking I'd work till 60. Then we'd travel, do all the things we'd put off. Sarah talked about maybe quitting the dental office, doing something different. Everything looked fine on paper. Brandon graduated from State in May 2023 with a degree in business. Tyler was finishing up his junior year of high school. We threw Brandon a graduation party, had about 60 people in our backyard. I watched Sarah work the crowd that day, charming everyone, laughing, playing the perfect wife and mother. My best friend Rick was there with his wife Julie. My brother Tom and his wife Patricia. Sarah's whole family. Everyone kept telling me what a lucky guy I was. I agreed. But that night, after everyone left and we were cleaning up, I walked into the kitchen and caught Sarah texting someone with this smile on her face. Not a regular smile. The kind of smile I used to get from her, back in the beginning. I asked who she was talking to. She jumped, literally startled, and said nobody, just scrolling Facebook. But I'd seen her typing. I said nothing, filed it away. June of 2023, Sarah went on a girls' trip to Nashville. Diane and 2 other friends from the gym. For days, 3 nights. She FaceTimed me once. At the hotel, showed me the room. They were all drinking wine and laughing. Everything seemed normal. But when she got back, she was different, distant, started picking fights over nothing. I forgot to take the trash out. Suddenly we're having a 2-hour argument about respect and consideration. I loaded the dishwasher wrong. She's telling me I don't appreciate anything she does. Tell me in the comments, when would you have snapped? Because I was getting close. July, I noticed charges on our credit card. Transform Fitness, that made sense, but also Starbucks 3 or 4 times a week, always around 10 in the morning. Sarah worked 8 to 5, 30 minutes away. She wasn't going to Starbucks on her lunch breaks. I asked about it casual, just curious. She got defensive immediately. Said sometimes she met Diane there before work. Sometimes she grabbed coffee with friends from the gym. Why was I tracking her spending? I backed off. Didn't want to be that husband. August, I almost caught something. I came home early from work, around 3 in the afternoon. Site inspection got canceled. Sarah's car was in the driveway, but the house was quiet. I called out for her, no answer. I walked through the hall downstairs. Nothing. Went upstairs. Bedroom door was closed. I opened it and she was in bed, fully dressed, on her phone. She nearly dropped it when I walked in. Said she had a headache, left work early, was just resting. I asked why she didn't answer when I called out. She said she had headphones in, didn't hear me. Showed me her AirPods on the nightstand. But I'd noticed something. Her face was flushed, her hair was messed up, and there was a smell in the room I couldn't place. Not perfume, not her usual smell. Something else. Someone else. I stood there looking at her, and she looked right back at me with this expression that I can only describe as cold. I left the room, went downstairs, sat in my truck in the garage for an hour. That night I did something I never thought I'd do. When Sarah fell asleep, I tried to unlock her phone. 6-digit code, I didn't know it. Tried her birthday, my birthday, kids' birthdays, our anniversary. Nothing. I tried Transform, the name of the gym. Nothing. I sat there in the dark holding my wife's phone like some kind of creep, and I hated myself. But not as much as I hated the feeling in my gut. September, Melissa was deep in wedding planning. Sarah was helping her pick bridesmaid dresses, flower arrangements, all that. They were close, always had been. One Saturday they were at our house going through wedding stuff and I heard Melissa say something that made my blood run cold. She said, "Mom, I saw you at Starbucks last Tuesday with some guy. I waved but you didn't see me." There was a pause. Then Sarah said, "Oh, that was Marcus, my trainer. We were going over nutrition plans." Melissa said, "Oh, okay. He's cute." They both laughed. I was in the next room. I didn't move. Nutrition plans. At Starbucks. On a Tuesday morning when she should have been at work. If I'd known then what I know now, I would have confronted her right then and there. But I didn't. I let it sit. October came. Melissa's wedding was in 3 weeks. Sarah was busy with final preparations. I threw myself into work, took on extra projects, stayed late. Anything to not be home. Rick noticed. We'd been best friends since high school. Worked together at the county for 15 years. We grabbed lunch one day and he asked me straight out if everything was okay. I told him I thought Sarah was having an affair. He put his sandwich down and just looked at me. Asked why I thought that. I laid it all out. The phone, the gym, the late nights, the credit card charges, the distance. He listened and then he said something I'll never forget. He said, "Brother, if you think something's going on, you need to find out for sure. Because this thing right here, this suspicion eating at you, it's going to destroy you either way. Either you're right and you need to know, or you're wrong and you need to stop poisoning your own marriage." I went home that night and looked at Sarah across the dinner table. Tyler was telling some story about football practice. Sarah was laughing at all the right moments, and I thought maybe I was crazy. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe this was all in my head. The wedding happened October 20th, 2023. Beautiful day, everything perfect. Melissa looked stunning, her husband Jacob is a good kid, works in IT. Sarah cried during the ceremony. I cried. We danced together at the reception. Slow danced to the same song we danced to at our own wedding. She leaned her head on my shoulder and I thought, okay, this is it, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through whatever this rough patch is. 2 weeks later, early November. I'm in our home office paying bills and I noticed something on our cell phone statement. I'd never really looked at it closely before, it was autopay. But I was going through everything more carefully now, watching. Sarah's number had sent and received over 6,000 texts in the last month. 6,000. To one number. I didn't recognize it. I wrote it down. That night I asked Sarah how many texts she thought she sent in a day. She shrugged, said maybe 20, 30. I said, "What about 60, 70? She stopped, looked at me, asked why I was asking. I told her I'd seen the phone bill. She went pale, then red. Said it was probably group chats with Diane and her gym friends, those rack up fast. I asked if I could see. She said no, those were private conversations. I asked her who she'd been texting 6,000 times in 30 days. She stood up, told me I was being controlling. This was ridiculous. She wasn't doing this, and walked out of the room. I sat there with that phone number written on a piece of paper. I reverse looked it up online. Came back to a Marcus Patterson, 38 years old.
Personaltrainer.
Transform Fitness. Stay till the very end, because what happened next still keeps me up at night. I didn't confront her. I know I should have, but something in me needed absolute proof. I needed to see it with my own eyes. So I started planning. I called Rick, told him everything, showed him the phone records. He helped me order a dashcam off Amazon. Not just any dashcam, one of those fancy ones with parking mode that records even when the car's off, motion activated, records audio, can be monitored through an app on my phone. $299. Arrived in 2 days. November 15th, 2023. I installed it in Sarah's Nissan Rogue while she was at work. Tucked it up behind her rearview mirror. You'd never notice it unless you were looking for it. Hardwired it so it couldn't run out of battery. Downloaded the app. Waited. For 3 days, nothing interesting. Video of her driving to work, driving home, stopping at the grocery store. I felt stupid, paranoid. Maybe I was wrong about all of this. Then November 18th, a Saturday, everything changed. Sarah told me she was going to help Diane move some furniture, would be gone most of the day. I said fine. She left at 10 in the morning. I opened the dashcam app on my phone and watched her car leave our driveway. She didn't go toward Diane's house. She went the opposite direction, toward Transform Fitness. But she didn't stop there either. She kept driving, out of town. I watched the GPS tracking on the app, watched her drive 15 miles east to a part of the county I knew well. New development, expensive houses. She pulled into a driveway. Big 2-story house. Looked brand new. Gray siding, black shutters. Probably $500,000 easy. The dashcam gave me a perfect view through the windshield. I watched Sarah sit in the car for a minute, checking her makeup in the mirror. Then the front door of the house opened and Marcus Patterson walked out. I'd looked him up, seen his picture on the gym's website. Tall, built, good-looking guy, younger than us. He walked up to her car. She got out. He kissed her. Not a friendly kiss. A kiss that made my stomach drop through the floor. His hand on the back of her head, her arms around his neck. They stood there in his driveway kissing for what felt like an hour but was probably 30 seconds. Then they walked into the house together. His hand on her lower back. The door closed. I sat on my couch, staring at my phone, watching the dashcam's parking mode record his empty driveway, and I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't move. I don't know how long I sat there. The camera recorded for 6 hours and 23 minutes before Sarah came back out. She was wearing different clothes. He walked her to her car, kissed her again. She drove home. She got home around 5:30, came in smiling, said Diane's new place was nice. They'd gotten everything moved. She was exhausted. Asked what I wanted for dinner. I said pizza was fine. We ate pizza. We watched a movie. We went to bed. I didn't sleep. Over the next 2 weeks, I watched it happen 3 more times. Always Saturdays or Sundays. Always the same house. She'd tell me she was going somewhere, running errands, meeting friends, helping someone with something. She'd drive straight to Marcus's house. She'd stay for hours, then come home and lie to my face. I didn't tell her I knew. I needed more. I needed to understand the full scope. So I started digging deeper. I made a fake Facebook profile, searched for Marcus Patterson, found him, scrolled through his photos. There was Sarah, in multiple photos, at restaurants, at hiking spots, at the gym, tagged as M with a heart emoji. Photos going back 2 years. 2 years. Some of the comments from his friends were telling. She's a lucky lady. You two are great together. When's the wedding? I felt like I was going to throw up. I checked our bank statements going back 3 years. Found transfers I couldn't account for. 500 here, 300 there, 1,000 once. $22,000 total. Moved from our joint savings to Sarah's personal checking account I didn't have access to. Money I'd earned. We'd saved together for retirement. Gone. Men over 50, we've given too many years to let this go. Keep listening. December rolled around. Holidays. Tyler was home from school. Brandon came back from his apartment. Melissa and Jacob came for Christmas. Sarah played the perfect mother and grandmother to Jacob's little girl from his first marriage. We opened presents. We ate ham. We sang carols. And I watched my wife laugh and joke and hug our kids while knowing she'd been screwing someone else for 2 years. Lying to my face for 2 years. Stealing from us for 2 years. I played along. Smiled in photos. Kissed her under the mistletoe. Started planning. After Christmas, I called a divorce attorney. Set up a consultation for early January. Her name was Patricia Hirsch. Came highly recommended. I showed her everything. The phone records, the dashcam footage, all of it. She told me Indiana is a no-fault divorce state, so the affair wouldn't matter much legally. But the financial stuff would. The money Sarah moved, if I could prove it went to Marcus or was used for the affair, that could be considered dissipation of marital assets. She could be ordered to pay it back as part of the settlement. Patricia said to keep gathering evidence. Keep everything documented. Don't confront Sarah yet. We scheduled another meeting for February. January 2024, Sarah started acting strange. Nervous. Jumpy. She'd check her phone constantly, then look at me, then look away. I wondered if Marcus was getting cold feet, if he was trying to end it. Good. Let him. Let her feel what I was feeling. Then on January 23rd, everything exploded in a way I didn't see coming. This is the first major twist. Sarah came home from work early, around 2 in the afternoon. I was in the home office. She walked in, closed the door behind her, and sat down. She looked terrified. She said we needed to talk. I thought this was it. She's going to confess, finally. But what came out of her mouth was so much worse. She said she was pregnant.
Esther daher.
We're both 55 years old. Our youngest is 17. I'd had a vasectomy in 2010. She started crying. Said she didn't know how it happened. Must have been a miracle. Maybe the vasectomy reversed itself somehow. She was scared, didn't know what to do. I asked her how far along. She said the doctor said 8 weeks. I did the math. Thanksgiving. I asked if she was sure. She said yes, positive. Started talking about how this would change everything, how crazy this was, how we'd have to figure things out. I looked at my wife, this woman I'd loved for 31 years, sitting there crying and lying and trying to pass off her affair partner's baby as mine, and something in me just shut off. I said, Sarah, I had a vasectomy 14 years ago. She froze. The tears stopped. She looked at me with this expression of pure panic. I said, so we both know that baby isn't mine. She started to say something, stopped, started again. Said maybe the vasectomy failed, it happens, she read about it online. I said, or maybe you've been screwing Marcus Patterson for 2 years and got careless. The blood drained from her face. She whispered, how do you know about Marcus? I told her everything. The dashcam, the photos, the phone records, the bank statements. All of it. I watched her go through about 6 different emotions in 10 seconds. Denial, anger, fear, more denial, calculation, and finally resignation. She asked how long I'd known. I said 2 months. She started crying again. Real tears this time. Said it was a mistake, it didn't mean anything, Marcus meant nothing. She loved me, she was sorry. She'd end it, please don't leave her. Think of the kids. Think of Melissa's wedding photos, we could fix this. I asked her if she loved him. She said no. I asked if she'd told him about the baby. She said yes. I asked what he said. She went quiet. I asked again. She said he told her to get rid of it or tell her husband it was his. Said he wasn't ready to be a father, wasn't ready to blow up his life. I asked if she'd known he had a wife. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. I said, you didn't know Marcus Patterson is married? Has been for 12 years? Has 2 kids. I showed her his Facebook profile, the one I'd spent weeks analyzing. Photos with his wife Bethany and their kids, ages 8 and 6. Sarah grabbed my phone, scrolled through the photos, and I watched her realize she wasn't special. She was just another middle-aged woman getting played by a good-looking personal trainer. She got up, went to the bathroom, threw up, came back, asked what I was going to do. I told her I wanted a divorce. I wanted her out of the house. I wanted my money back. And I wanted her to tell the kids the truth. She begged me not to tell the kids. Said it would destroy them. I said she should have thought about that before she destroyed our family. She moved in with Diane that night. Took some clothes, her car, not much else. Tyler was confused. I told him Mom and I were having some problems. Needed space. He's 17, not stupid, knew something big was happening. Over the next month Sarah tried everything. Called me constantly. Sent long texts about how sorry she was. Showed up at the house crying. Tried to get the kids to intervene. Melissa called me in tears asking what happened. I told her to ask her mother. Sarah told Melissa we were fighting about money. Melissa believed her. Brandon asked me directly if Mom was cheating. I said yes. He asked with who. I told him. Brandon knew Marcus from when he'd worked out at Transform Fitness before college. He stopped talking to Sarah. February 3rd, I met with Patricia again. Gave her the update about the pregnancy. She said that complicated things but also made them simpler. DNA test would prove adultery definitively. I said Sarah was planning to terminate the pregnancy. Patricia said to get that in writing if possible. I got it. Sarah texted me on February 9th that she'd ended the pregnancy. Said Marcus had paid for it. Asked if that made me happy. I forwarded the text to Patricia. February 14th, Valentine's Day. Sarah sent me flowers at work. 2 dozen roses. The card said 31 years is worth fighting for. I love you.
I'm sorry.
I threw them away. March came. The divorce was moving forward. Sarah had hired her own attorney. They were fighting me on everything. The house, the retirement accounts, alimony. Sarah claimed she deserved half of everything because she'd been a devoted wife and mother for 3 decades. My attorney laughed. Her attorney filed a motion claiming I'd been emotionally abusive, controlling, had tracked her without consent, violated her privacy. The dashcam footage was being contested. That's when I got the idea for the Reddit post. I'd been lurking on the surviving infidelity subreddit for months, reading other people's stories, getting advice. I'd never posted, but now I was angry. I was tired of Sarah playing victim. I was tired of her family acting like I was the bad guy for not forgiving her. So on March 28, 2024, at 10:30 at night, I created a Reddit account. Username was Truth About Sarah, and I posted our entire story. Everything. The timeline, the affair, the pregnancy, the lies. And I uploaded a 5-minute clip from the dashcam. Just 5 minutes. Sarah pulling into Marcus's driveway, him coming out, the kiss, them going inside. I posted it and went to bed. When I woke up 7 hours later, the post had 4,000 upvotes and 900 comments. By noon, it had 15,000 upvotes. By dinner, it had 40,000. The video had been watched over 1 million times. People were sharing it everywhere. Someone found Transform Fitness's Facebook page and was posting the video in the comments. Someone else found Marcus's wife Bethany on social media and sent it to her. Local news picked it up. Then regional news. By March 30th, it was on Inside Edition. My phone was ringing off the hook. Friends, family, co-workers, reporters. Sarah called me screaming. Said I'd ruined her life. How could I do this? Everyone knew now. She couldn't show her face anywhere. I was vindictive and cruel. I said welcome to the club. Melissa called crying. Said she'd seen the video. Couldn't believe Mom would do that. Was so embarrassed. Brandon called and said he was proud of me for standing up for myself. Tyler saw it at school, his friends had seen it. Everyone was talking about it. He came home and asked if it was true. I said yes. He locked himself in his room for 2 days. Marcus's wife Bethany filed for divorce on April 1st. She also filed a lawsuit against Sarah for alienation of affection. Indiana doesn't have that law, but she filed in Illinois where she'd been living with their kids, while Marcus worked in Indiana. Doesn't matter if it'll stick, it made headlines. Marcus got fired from Transform Fitness. The gym released a statement saying they don't condone relationships between trainers and clients. Said Marcus violated their ethics policy. He tried to sue them for wrongful termination. That made headlines too. By mid-April, the original post had over 100,000 upvotes. It had been shared on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Someone made a reaction video that got 3 million views. Someone else made a podcast episode about it. The story got picked up by a YouTuber who makes videos about cheating stories. His channel has 2 million subscribers. My story became one of his most watched videos. Sarah's attorney tried to claim I'd posted revenge porn, tried to get a restraining order. Didn't work. Nothing in the video was pornographic, it was just evidence of adultery recorded in a public location. Perfectly legal. Judge threw it out. The divorce hearing was set for June 15th. Sarah and I had to sit in the same room for mediation. She looked terrible. Lost weight. Aged 10 years in 3 months. She wouldn't look at me. Her attorney tried to argue for alimony, for half the retirement for the house. My attorney played the full 23-minute dashcam video. All the times Sarah went to Marcus's house. All the lies. Then Patricia brought out the bank statements showing the $22,000. Sarah's attorney argued she'd spent that on herself, personal expenses. Patricia produced Marcus's Venmo records, subpoenaed from his phone records as part of Bethany's lawsuit. $12,000 from Sarah over 2 years. Rent money, car payment money, money for furniture. Sarah had been financially supporting him. My money, supporting her affair partner. The judge looked at Sarah like she was something stuck to his shoe. Awarded me the house, 70% of the retirement accounts, 0 alimony for her. She'd have to pay back $11,000 of the marital funds she'd dissipated. Split time with Tyler 50-50 until he turned 18, which was 4 months away. We walked out of that courtroom on opposite sides. Her sister Diane was there, wouldn't look at me. Sarah's parents weren't speaking to me. My family had cut her off completely. The kids were split. Melissa still talked to both of us but strained with Sarah.
Brandon Chosme.
Tyler was trying to stay neutral but leaning my direction. That should have been the end of it. Divorce finalized. Life moves on. Everyone heals eventually. But this is where the final twist happens. The one that ties directly back to Reddit, the one nobody saw coming. In August of 2024, 4 months after the divorce was final, I got a message on Reddit. Someone claiming to be Marcus Patterson wanted to talk. I ignored it, figured it was a troll. Got another message the next day. Then an email to an address I'd never shared publicly. This email had proof it was really him. Photos of him and Sarah I'd never seen. Details only he would know. He wanted to meet. Said he had something to tell me that I needed to hear. I told him to jump off a bridge. He said it was about Sarah and the pregnancy. Said there were things I didn't know. I agreed to meet. Public place, daytime. Starbucks, ironically. The same one Sarah used to meet him at. Marcus showed up looking like a beaten man. Lost his job, lost his wife, his kids barely spoke to him. He was living in a studio apartment working at a Planet Fitness for $12 an hour. He sat down across from me and said he was sorry. I said I didn't care. He said I should care because Sarah lied about more than just the affair. He told me the pregnancy wasn't an accident. Sarah had stopped taking her birth control on purpose. Told him she wanted to have his baby. Wanted to leave me. Wanted to start a new life with him. He'd panicked. Told her he couldn't leave his wife. Couldn't afford another kid. She needed to take care of it. She'd threatened to tell his wife everything if he didn't leave Bethany and marry her. He'd called her bluff. She'd ended the pregnancy out of spite, hoping it would hurt him. Then he told me the second part. The part that made my blood run cold. Sarah had been planning to clean out our bank accounts and disappear. Marcus had copies of texts where she talked about it. Waiting until after Melissa's wedding, after the holidays, then taking everything and running. The only reason she didn't was because she got pregnant and her timeline got messed up. She was going to destroy me financially and ghost. Leave me with nothing. He showed me the texts. Screenshots from their conversations, dated all the way back to July of 2023. Planning, scheming, Sarah talking about how stupid I was, how easy it would be, how she'd set up a separate bank account in her name only, been funneling money there for a year. Marcus said she'd had almost $35,000 in that account before the pregnancy happened and everything fell apart. I asked why he was telling me this. He said because Sarah was trying to rebuild her life, playing victim on Facebook, telling everyone I'd posted that video to abuse and humiliate her, that she'd made one mistake and I'd destroyed her over it. He was tired of watching her get sympathy she didn't deserve. He wanted the truth out there. Plus, he was bitter. She'd ruined his life just as much as she'd ruined mine. I took the screenshots home, sat with them for a week, thought about just letting it go, moving on. But I couldn't. Not when Sarah was out there rewriting history. So on August 29, 2024, I made a second Reddit post. Update number 2. My cheating ex-wife is playing victim online. Here's what she didn't want you to know. And I posted everything Marcus gave me. The texts about the plan to steal our money. The proof she got pregnant on purpose trying to trap him. The conversations where she called me pathetic and stupid. Everything. That post hit 50,000 upvotes in 4 hours. The video from the first post started circulating again. The whole story got picked back up by the same YouTubers, podcasters, TikTokers. It went even bigger than before. Sarah's Facebook got flooded. Her workplace, the dental office, started getting calls. She quit before they could fire her. Diane stopped talking to her. Sarah's own parents called me to apologize for taking her side. Melissa reached out. Said she'd seen the new post. Said she couldn't believe Mom had been planning to abandon all of us. Said she was done trying to maintain a relationship with her. Brandon had already cut Sarah off completely. Tyler turned 18 in September and told the court he wanted nothing to do with his mother. Sarah tried to call me in October. left a voicemail, said she was sorry for everything, truly sorry. Could we please talk? She wanted to explain. I didn't call back. Last I heard, she's living 3 towns over, working as a receptionist at a veterinary clinic. Alone.
No, Marcus.
No kids. No family. Just her and the consequences of her choices. Me? I'm doing okay. Better than okay, actually. Rick and I started a consulting business on the side that's taking off. Melissa's doing great. Expecting her first baby in March. Brandon got a promotion. Tyler's in his first year at Purdue studying engineering like his old man. I've got my house, my health, my integrity, and a whole online community of people who tell me I'm their hero. And I've got closure. Real closure. The kind that comes from the whole world seeing the truth. That Reddit post, that dashcam video, it did something I never expected. It didn't just expose Sarah's betrayal. It exposed the lie that affairs are private matters, that betrayed spouses should suffer in silence, that there's something noble about taking the high road while your cheating spouse rewrites the narrative. Sometimes the high road is making sure everyone knows exactly who they're dealing with. Sometimes justice is letting the whole world see the truth. I thought Reddit cheating revenge stories were just drama, entertainment for people with nothing better to do. Until I became one. Until karma hit my wife in a way neither of us could have imagined. Until 6 million people watched her kiss another man in his driveway and told me I deserved better. They were right. If this story hit you square in the chest like it did me while living it, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. Because the next betrayal I tell might just save you from living it yourself.